Welcome back, everybody. I've been reading this 1984 TV guide. We're checking some of this stuff out. I'm sure a lot of these shows or channels or videos and stuff aren't really shown anymore, or not too much at least. But this is like stuff that was, on TV, back in the day, 30 years ago or so. And I've been reading these various Reagan and Mondale articles that are in this TV guide for the 1984 presidential election. And here's another little one I found, and it says here close-up. It says here, President Ronald Reagan and former Vice President Walter Mondale debate the economy and other domestic issues in the first of their two scheduled confrontations sponsored by the League of Women Voters. The site for tonight's debate is the Kentucky Center for the Arts in Louisville. The format is question and answer, with a panel of journalists asking each candidate the same questions. Each will have 2.5 minutes to answer, 1 minute to respond to a follow-up question, and a minute to rebut his opponent's remarks. Both men will also have 4 minutes to make closing statements. The 90-minute debates are closed captioned on ABC's. The networks are scheduled to follow them with analysis. The presidential candidates will meet again on October 21st in Kansas City to debate national defense and foreign policy. Their running mates, Vice President George Bush, the senior one, and Representative Geraldine Ferraro, will participate in a single debate this Thursday evening, October 11th, in Philadelphia. And let me see here. The other thing was some shows. No. Where's this other thing? It's a commercial here for some old U.S. savings bonds. $50 or $100. Wow. Where's this other thing here? There's one other thing in this thing. It's about for the presidential election, the old school stuff. Where is it? Yeah, 80s were pretty cool. Oh. Age of Destiny. What? Who's this? Color Jennifer Dead. What the hell? What was that? Oh, this is kind of cool. This is a commercial for a VCR. Yeah. Anyway, where was that? Where is this thing? What was that? Crisis Strikes. Where is this thing? Dueling drug dealer. Are you serious? Huh. How odd. Now, Oh, this is another thing I thought was kind of cool. It's let's see, the brain. It was like this is an 80s thing about like the brain and like science at the time. It says here, close up, the enlightened machine, debut. Throughout history, people have sought to unlock the mysteries of the human mind, and in the last 20 years, scientists have made great strides in that direction. This 8-part series examines some of what they've discovered and about how this remarkable 3-pound organ functions and what it's capable of doing. The first program reviews the theories of several major 19th century thinkers in brain science. Among them are Franz Joseph Gall, who believed that different personality traits resided in different parts of the brain, causing protuberances on the skull, and Karl Wernicke, who postulated that the sections of the brain work in conjunction with one another, but these men lacked the sophisticated tools available to modern brain detectives, such as the EEG, which measures brain electroactivity, and the CAT, which can penetrate the skull to X-ray tissue. Today's investigators also learn about the mind by studying people with brain disorders, like choreographer Agnes DeMille, who suffered a stroke in 1975, and an epileptic whose seizures doctors have likened to an electoral storm. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Science back in the 80s, technology, and understanding and learning back in the 80s, how it was, or what they thought about it back then. Oh, here we go. This is the other thing I was talking about. It says here, close up. And this is the vice presidential debate. This is a picture of Bush, the senior one, who was vice president. And this is Geraldine Ferraro, a picture of her. She was the vice president candidate back in 1984. And if I remember, she was the first woman, or one of the first women to do that. So I thought that was kind of cool. And also, I forget, I think with the 80s, that's when Star Wars started, or was starting, or something like that. I forget when the first Star Wars was. I think it was in the 80s. Can't remember exactly. But yeah, cool stuff. And yeah, this is about some stuff they talk about. If you want to read this stuff, you could just go back and pause this thing. But yeah, I thought this 80s stuff was kind of cool. Stuff was different back then, or a little different. 1984 schedule for TV. 10 p.m. Channel 2 and 3, Falcon Crest. Yeah, cool stuff. Some more 80s commercials. Oh yeah, this is kind of cool. What you're looking at here is a commercial or advertisement for this game thingy majig thing right here, and what this is a this is the TV Guide TV game. Now I know it looks kind of, I'm not sure how to describe it. Available at most larger Sears stores and Sears 1984 Christmas catalog. Wow. Anyway, so back in the day, I mean, back then you didn't really have computers. I mean, they had. I mean, it wasn't like a main thing to have like computers. Like computers existed back then, but I mean, it's not like today. It's not like phones like today. It's not like computers like today. Back then, people didn't really have computers. I mean, like they were mostly like used in like offices and stuff, or big companies that could afford that kind of thing. Internet didn't exist back then. It didn't really exist. Not like today. You didn't have like an iPod or iPhone. I mean, stuff was just way different back then. I'd almost call it a different America, a different people. Anyway, a lot of those things didn't exist back then. So this is one of the things you did. You read something known as a book or a magazine, or you played games like this, like board games, because like video games and stuff. A lot of that stuff was just getting started and everything. I'm talking about like it wasn't like a main thing. Like nowadays, yeah, you have like internet, games everywhere, software everywhere. Back then, that stuff did not really exist. This is what you had. And so when you did stuff for fun, you did stuff like this. I mean, like you had VCRs, and the huge TVs, cassettes. It was just a totally different era. A totally different era. You had something known as a music store, or even a lot of video stores. Like you don't really have that today. And even a lot of the software stores, that stuff doesn't really exist anymore. I mean, back then, I mean, even the CD had had just barely come out. I mean, before like the CD, like music used to be on those huge pizza-sized discs, and I mean that's just how it was. And yeah, some more 80s stuff. She was her own master, devil, and slave driver. Let me see if this will focus. This is a Tylenol advertisement, 1984 commercial. And yeah, I mean, just look at this. This is an AT&T commercial from 1984. Look at this phone. I mean, back then you didn't have pagers. You didn't have, you didn't take, back then, you did not take your phone everywhere you went. I mean, you had something that looked like something similar to this. I mean, a phone stayed in a house or an office or whatever. I mean, you didn't take a phone with you everywhere you go. There was no TV screen on it. There was no texting. There was no, I mean, that stuff just didn't exist. That stuff didn't really even exist. I mean, yeah. It was different back then. See if I can focus in on this. This is for yeah, players go places. And this is a this is for Players cigarettes advertisement. All right, so that was that.